Hey, everybody, and welcome to our very first Facebook Live. Hopefully, you guys can hear and see me. We are excited today to introduce you two of our friends from the Wives of the Air Force, and I'll let them speak a little bit more about what they do. But yeah, wanted to welcome in to our stream Jen from the Wives of the Air Force and Kirst. They are joining us today from Alaska and Virginia. So we are all over the board here. And just to some housekeeping, if you guys want to drop in, if you're viewing live, if you want to drop in some comments or just say hey to us, we would appreciate that. And yeah, so welcome, Jen and Kirst. We're so excited to have you here on our very first Facebook Live. Hire Heroes USA will be going live periodically with great resources such as the Wives of the Air Force and different resources for military spouses, and just sharing tricks and tools, whether that be just military spouse life or regarding your employment search. And for those of you that don't know what Hire Heroes USA does, we are a nonprofit organization here to support military spouses. It may not be well known that we also help military spouses. So I know we're huge in the veteran community. We've been helping veterans get jobs for many years now, but recently, as of a couple of years ago, we launched our Serving Spouses program, and we also offer the same services to military spouses. So what that entails is we will help you with your whole job search. So your resume, if you're not confident with your resume, we got you. We will help revise and rewrite that resume for you. We have a really great job board, and then also offer additional services such as mock interviews, career counseling sessions, LinkedIn help, pretty much everything that comes along in your job search. We got you. We are here in your corner. You'll be assigned a transition specialist, and they will follow up with you throughout your whole search until you find a job that you really love. You could register for our services for free at www.hireheroesusa.org. So enough about Hire Heroes. I'll introduce myself. I am the Serving Spouses Program Manager at Hire Heroes. I've been with us for about 5 years now, and really just love working with the military spouse community, and brought me to here with Jen and Kirst, who offer really great resources for military spouses. So I'll let you guys introduce yourself and just explain a little bit more about what you're doing with the Wives of the Air Force.
Yeah. So just a little bit about me first. I'm Jen. I'm originally from Arkansas, and I've been a WAF, as we call it, for almost 7 years now. We were stationed at McCord in Tacoma, Washington for the last 6 years, and just recently, 3 months ago, PCS up to Alaska.
And can you guys hear me okay? Awesome. I'm Kirst. I actually also recently just PCS'd from little old Del Rio, Texas, Laughlin Air Force Base, up to big ol' Andrews Air Force Base in the DC area. We were thrilled. This is a dream assignment for my husband, so we were so excited to be here. I hail from Iowa, and I'm very proud of my people back there and the Iowa Hawkeyes always. And Jen and I actually met at our very first assignment and in McCord Air Force Base in Tacoma, Washington. Jen was my very first WAF friend, and really actually first friend in Washington in general. It was a really sweet story. I'll kind of let Jen take it away from here. I love how she tells her side because she had the more of the background than I even really did.
I think I'm muted.
No, you're good.
Oh, okay, great. So when we got to, actually before we even PCS to McCord, when Kirsten and I both were dating our husbands at the time when they were in pilot training. I'm so sorry now, my 1.5-year-old. I'm talking to my friends. Thank you.
Go on.
Balance. It's a balance. So whenever we first started dating our guys, neither of us expected to be a part of military life at all. We tried to do all this type of research online, finding anything about what we can expect out of this life. And we did not find a lot. So in not finding what we were looking for online, being able to find a like-minded friend in this world was huge. And it is very stressful going into a new assignment, not knowing anybody. So that being said, thankfully, our husbands went to college together at the Air Force Academy. And one day, I think it was actually Kirsten's husband that reached out to mine and said, hey, we should
After
get together.
me crying to him multiple times of like, I'm so lonely. I've tried Bumble BFF. I've tried everything. We were just dating. We weren't married. So I didn't have a good plug-in with the on-base resources yet. And
Yes.
I think he just saw this like sadness in his girlfriend's eyes, this woman he wanted to spend his life with. He's like, I have to help. And so that's where Jen's sweet husband also stepped in, and they brought us together at a baseball.
Yes. Took us to a baseball game, which is quite hysterical because I do not watch baseball. Did not watch a minute of that game. Honestly, I don't know if Kirsten did either because we just chatted the whole time. And ended up bonding over our husbands' deployments, which were back to back. So we took turns third wheeling with each other. And in that time, our relationship really grew. Even as Kirsten was a girlfriend, I was technically a wife at the time. And in our friendship, we started chatting about, hey, we never found anything that made this life seem reasonable, gave us the potential for joy to look forward to. It was just a lot of doom and gloom, negativity. This is kind of the end of your life. And I mean, we were both post-grads, so that's not a good time to feel like your life is ending. So after a few years of our friendship, we just said that this is it. This is what we need to do. We need to give hope to others that there are so many opportunities for your life to grow as a WAF, whether it be personally, professionally, all the above.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think that's what, I appreciate about, and for those of you, Wives of the Air Force, they provide resources and, blog posts and just for other military spouses to follow along in their journey. And I think that's really what I appreciate about you guys is you don't sugarcoat things as, you tell it how it is. Like, because military life is hard, being a military spouse is hard. But like you guys said, it's not just all, the doom and gloom. Like you share the great things that come along with military spouse life as well. And, it's just a really great journey to follow along with and all the resources that you provide. And yeah, so speaking about careers, so do you guys do the Wives of the Air Force full time, or can you tell me a little bit, about your career journey as a military spouse?
For sure. Do you want to go Kirst first?
Yeah. I mean, my career journey has just been wild to start from that. I went to graduate school to work in jails and prisons doing psychological training and therapy with men and women that were incarcerated. And here I am today working remotely for a digital marketing agency and a personality assessment company, and also doing WAFs. So we do consider the blog a job for us. It takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of balance. We have to navigate that no differently than we do our professional lives with our spouses, with our families, and dedicate time to it. So it's kind of a misconception because it does seem it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work and we enjoy doing that. But yeah, my career has just been all over the place, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to work remote as a military spouse, because that has been huge. That was the last thing I had to worry or stress about with this PCS is I knew that I had the stability of my job and that financial income, regardless of where we were geographically located.
I wish that we have some video of Kirsten in her PCS from McCord to Del Rio, just venting her frustrations a little bit in her career. Right. I wish that I had that from my PCS just to McCord. Because as a post-grad going into military life where I did all the right things in college, I had the right major, I had an internship for 3 years, everything was set up. And then to have career difficulties once I PCS'd, like that level of frustration is something that we don't want anybody to ever have to feel. Yeah. But having WAFs now in both of our PCSs and our virtual jobs, being able to feel more confident in our latest PCSs, just to show the comparison would be amazing.
So cool. Yeah.
My background is in communications, and then I worked for a furniture designer in college. So then it was very funny for me to move to Tacoma, Washington, where there were not business jobs and there were not design jobs for sure. But after a few months of searching around, I started working for Sam's Club. I was managing a Sam's Club out in Washington for a few years. Very difficult to do retail when your spouse also works a weird job with weird hours.
Yeah.
So put in my time there, and then actually ended up working for the Air Force in my husband's squadron for 2.5 years before I started working virtually. And then we ended up PCSing, and now I do WAFs full time when I'm not watching my child.
I love that. And yeah, so we get a lot of clients that come to Hire Heroes and they're looking for those remote jobs. And I think that now is the best time, especially, you know, with coronavirus. If anything positive to come out of that is, you know, companies are seeing the value in remote work. So if you're a military spouse, you know, that is definitely an option. And I encourage you to look into it because thankfully Hire Heroes has allowed me to travel with my job and work remotely. And as you guys mentioned, like it's just been night and day for having to go through a PCS, knowing that you have a job that you could take with you versus having to start over every single time you move. And that's why, you know, military spouses, they have, you know, gaps of employment or not building seniority into roles is because we've had to move. But remote employment is really just, you know, transforming the lives of military spouses. And I think it's definitely a positive outcome. And I would definitely recommend military spouses if, you know, you need job search help, sign up for Hire Heroes USA. We can help you. But then also, if you are, you know, trying to get a remote job, and you're currently, you know, working at a job that you love, I would encourage you to make a proposal. You know, the worst they could say is no. But I always tell my clients, you know, propose, you know, I want to work from home. I'm going to be moving. And who knows, like you could land yourself a remote job just, you know, by proposing it.
Yep. I've actually seen that play out multiple times for friends. So I can echo that. I mean, I just think also majority of military spouses, not all, but majority are female. And we already have such a struggle with asking for things in our professional environments, whether it be raises or, you know, big ass like that. Like, please bring me on remote. Like I've done so much for your company and I've seen it. I've talked to my friends that work and have the same problems. So challenge yourself to be a little bit more bold because you are valued. Military spouses, I swear, are the best employees.
Yes.
They're so dedicated. I call them like loyal dogs. Like they will be by your side. They will take care of you because we just want some form of stability somewhere. And it's so nice to be able to give that to an employer that believes in you.
Yeah. And just, you know, you guys have built an amazing community. Do you have any advice? Say you are, you know, a new military spouse, you just moved to a base, you don't know anybody, you know, the struggles of military spouse life. Do you guys have any recommendations of how someone can kind of build the community that you guys have built or, you know, just feel included?
Yeah,
totally. I always say never discount the fact that you could find the person that will lead you to your person. I think that sometimes military spouses will move somewhere and be like, I need to find my best friend right now. And that's not always the case. You want to come here? Come here. This is Ava. But it took me, I want to say 10 months to meet Kirsten at our first assignment. And I met a few people along the way that were awesome for that time to fill in the gaps. But it was going to spouse events. I love that Kirsten said yesterday in our stories, she challenged herself with going to one spouse event a month.
Yeah, because it can be overwhelming. There's so much out there and you're not really sure where to get started. And I just tell people like, don't bite off more than you can chew at all. You know, don't, I'm really bad about this, about saying like, oh, I'll meet you at the park. Yes, we'll go have coffee. Yes, to all these things. And then I forget, like, I have other priorities that I have to manage as well. So just find a realistic goal. If that's one spouse event a month or one coffee a month, or even if it's just being willing to like get in our Facebook group, there's over 5,000 WAFs in there ready to connect and eager to help. Get in there and message back and forth with somebody that's at your location. Like anything that you can do to just move the needle forward will make you feel better and give you more confidence to get out there and potentially meet your person.
Yeah, and I think just so glad you guys bring that up. You guys have created such an amazing brand, and encourage you guys to, if you're listening, join the Wives of the Air Force Facebook group, their Instagram page, and also I believe you could sign up for monthly. Is that correct?
It's been monthly. We're trying to figure it all out. Jen and I, both are just like, man, those PCSs hit us so hard. And that was great. We were getting our groove, of course. So now we're trying to get back into it. Thankfully, we have awesome interns that help us out with all these things. So we're bringing on a few more to get that kicked back off. But yes, monthly is the goal.
Nice. So yeah, letters and different, they share great resources for Air Force spouses. So encourage you guys to join. And like Kirst said, like if you're a military spouse and there's so many military spouses in that group, like find your people, and I love what you said, Jen. One person could lead you to the next. And then, you tend to look back and you're like, this led me in this journey. Like everything happened for a reason.
Yep.
So do you guys have any lasting advice for the military spouses listening?
I mean, Jen and I always, we are like, oh, how much time do we have left? It's funny because our husbands will give us so much flack for being like, people come to you for opinions all the time. And Jen and I are probably two of the most opinionated people you will meet. We can always manage to have an opinion about anything. But as far as advice goes, I always kind of come back to what our foundation is, which is there's a time and a place to feel sorry for yourself and feel the emotions and the sadness and the anger and the frustration that come with the military lifestyle and the curveballs it throws at you. But don't let that consume you. Like give yourself 24 hours is kind of our rule of thumb. Eat the ice cream, cry into your pillow, like feel sorry for yourself, and then get back up the next day and find a way to use the resources. There's so many available to help yourself, help your scenario, your cause, ask for help, and get back out there and get going because life is going to continue and you deserve to find joy in this lifestyle.
Yeah. And take solace in knowing that you are not alone in this journey. There are many women walking it with you and many spouses who have walked it before you, who have paved the way and started organizations like Hire Heroes to make things easier for spouses. There's so many resources out there. We're so thankful to be one of them and a trusted one at that. But yes, just know that it's the future does not look dark. It is bright for so many spouses.
Yep. Yes, it is.
Yes, I totally agree. And, I always love to say when it comes to your job search, don't let your military spouse status define it. You let your experience and your skills speak for itself. You don't always have to go in an interview and say, I'm a military spouse. Let your experience and your skill sets speak for itself. But yeah, you guys are awesome. I want to, come hang out with you.
We do.
Yes.
It's so cold. Come out to Alaska. Hang out with me. The sun is just now coming up.
It's so fun. But yes, I encourage everyone listening to join and engage in the Wives of the Air Force brand they created in the amazing community. And if you guys need help in your job search, Hire Heroes USA Serving Spouses program, we are here to help you. As Jen and Kirst mentioned, utilize the resources out there for military spouses. And really, we're all in this together. And one last thing, they offer amazing swag too. So I'm rocking my Wives of the Air Force. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll have to do this again. And for those of you watching, keep a lookout for other Facebook Lives coming out. I think we'll make this a fun thing to just pop on Facebook Live every now and then and share, such great resources such as the Wives of the Air Force group. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thanks.
Bye.